Welcome to the Freedom Boating Podcast. My name is Captain Kyle, and I'm here today with Brandon Chadwell, our dock manager. So I wanted to today to just chat with Brandon about the unveiling of our fishing tournament. I know as everybody's kind of seen in some of the emails, but we have launched our base for our fishing tournament we're going to hold in June. I do think it's going to be something very exciting, and we'll have a great time doing it. So Brandon, as we have chatted before, we are going to have a Inshore and Offshore tournament. It's going to be ran like two separate tournaments, but they will both coincide the same weeks.
Right.
Brandon, so the nice thing about these two different tournaments is the ability to fish inshore and offshore. And so that being said, we'll be able to have a spot just about for every fisherman in our club here.
So they were doing the inshore and the offshore. What are the parameters that are going to be different rules for the two different things? So inshore, what are we looking at?
That's a great question. So for inshore, we're going to do it as a catch, photo, release. So that being said, everybody will require to have a bump board, which bump board is the measuring device that has the lip on it. So every fish will have a fair measurement, and at that point, it'll be a snook, trout, redfish, mangrove snapper, and jack crevalle will be your species.
Okay, so how would they actually go about it? So would they just measure every fish they catch, or is it just the biggest one?
So in each species, you'll have the largest fish in each species. So that being said, you can catch as many mangrove snappers as you want, but the biggest one is going to be the one to count. So collectively, you will have a 5-fish length. So that being said, we call it an aggregate length. So it'll be a combination of your largest fish you've caught over your 2 days of fishing.
So what's the time frame we're looking at? Do we have like a total of like 10 days or so, and they're just going to have a few days to fish? Or
so we're gonna have the captain's meeting on May 31st, with the first day of fishing on June 1st. And so June 1st will be a Friday, and then it'll run all the way to the following Sunday, which will be June 11th. You'll be able to fish 2 out of the 11 days, but the catch is you have to announce what days you're fishing before you leave the dock. So it can be a last-minute decision to fish that day for the tournament, but you can't just fish every day and be like, oh, I'm not counting this day, I'm going to count this day. You have to announce which days you're fishing beforehand.
Got it. And how would they announce that? Would they tell the dock when they leave, or are they emailing you?
So what we're going to do is it'll be a combination of emailing myself, or it will be announcing it on our members-only Facebook page.
Okay. And is that also how they're going to enter their pictures and whatnot?
Correct. So it'll be just the same way. An email as well as the posting on the member Facebook page. And every day for the inshore person, you will get a token. So that token will have the tournament logo as well as the date. So that token must be present in the picture of the fish. So what that'll do is just to announce and keep the current photos to the current days.
Got it. And what about the offshore?
So for the offshore, it's going to be it's actually going to be a actual weigh-in. We will have a certified scale at the dock, and then the scales will open at 8. Just when everybody goes out. I mean, you can come back as early as you want, but the scales will close at 5 o'clock sharp. So that means that we're back at the Freedom Boat Club dock at 5 o'clock, not somewhere in the inlet on our way.
Got it. And we are going to be cutting these fish open, make sure nobody threw any leads in there, because I've seen some Facebook videos.
I mean, obviously everybody's seen that, and we're gonna say that the integrity of our members is going to be upheld, and we're not going to have to do that. But that is actually pretty funny.
So the offshore is going to be more of a weight. It's not length or anything.
Correct. So the offshore will be 100% weight, and the species will be an open water species as well as bottom fishing species. So it'll be a conglomerate of both. What that'll be is that's dolphin, kingfish, wahoo, bonita, not tuna, bonita, and then for the bottom fishing, it will be grouper, snapper, jack of some sort. It could be amberjack, almaco jack, jack crevalle, and then barracuda.
Right. So for the jacks, though, just because there are multiple types, is it just your biggest one jack, or is it biggest of each type of those jacks?
Biggest one jack.
Okay.
If somebody catches a giant horse-eyed jack or a jack crevalle, that's their biggest. Great. If it's an amberjack, even better.
Got it. And how would they go about weighing that in? What do we do?
So there'll be a weighmaster. Actually, it'll be myself or you. Hope you realize you're being volunteered for that.
Got it.
As well as we will have another dockhand. Whoever happens to be working that day will be a secondary set of eyes to initial that the weight is the proper weight for each fish.
So the offshore, they actually bring the fish back to the dock so we can weigh it
Correct,
ourselves. So.
correct. And just remember, just because you are bringing it back, it has to be within the FWC parameters of a legal fish. That might be the only mahi you caught, but if it is not big enough, we don't need any munchkin mahis around.
How many people are on our team?
So for each team, we're gonna limit it to 4 people. At the captain's meeting, we want to have a roster of those 4 people. So I know everybody's probably thinking that, what happens if say Angler B can't join? That's perfectly fine. You can go out as a team of 3, but you cannot replace that angler.
Okay. And captains, so they need to be on board the whole time, or because I know you said we have 11 days, but there are 2 fishing trips versus so the captain need to be on board.
Yeah, so your team captain is required to be on board both days.
Okay.
That team captain is who the reservation will go under, as well as the team name. So obviously, for the sake of Freedom Boat Club and how everybody knows how the system works, the team captain must be present both those days.
Right. And inshore shouldn't matter as much. With the offshore, is it still 25 miles out, 20 miles north and south? Just sunset, basically, or I guess to 5 o'clock. Just our normal stuff.
Yeah, so as far as our parameters, it's going to be our normal 20 miles out, 25 miles north and south. And as far as the parameters, it's just like the offshore advanced training, where you can leave at sunrise, but you have to be in the, as our offshore advanced says, you have to be in the inlet by 5. You have to be at the dock. You have to be at the dock by 5.
So in the inlet by 5 or at the dock by 5?
No, you have to be at the dock by 5. If your boat's not on the dock, pretty much that's kind of the cutoff. I mean, I know that tends to seem kind of sharp, but somebody's got to withhold some sort of accountability.
Yeah, I think it should be pretty flush across the board. That way there's none of that, well, he gave me this one day.
Yeah, no, completely agree. But as far as the inshore goes, time back, that time back could be a little different. What I mean is because it is a catch photo release, I would say all of the photos have to be submitted by 8 o'clock. So that's just after your 30 minutes before sunset.
Got it. And I know, just bringing a question that I guess I need to ask since I am the number 1 mahi fisher out there. Dockhands can be in this or what?
So yeah, as Brandon thinks he should deserve all the credits to be in the tournament. So any employees are not going to be allowed to fish as far as the tournament goes, but there will be a dockhand/employee division. So honestly, it's just going to be a great bragging rights, trash talking division, and we'll see who the better fisherman is, if it's the employees or if it's the membership of the Freedom Boat Club of Fort Pierce.
Got it. And I know we kind of covered this with the inshore, but for the offshore, the weight thing's going to be the exact same as the inshore with length.
Correct.
So
it's going to be a combined. It's going to be the heaviest of each species for a combined total of your 8 fish total. Now, if you don't catch all 8 fish, that's okay. I mean, it'll just be the combined fish of as many species as you catch. So let's say, I know the wahoo is a little bit of a forbidden species around here sometimes.
Yeah.
If you don't catch that, the weight could be 7. And just because you don't have all the fish doesn't mean you're automatically not going to place. There might not be a species that's captured for the group.
All right, so what are we looking at for prizes and stuff like that? Is there going to be an entry fee or is there anything like that?
So as far as cost, it's going to be $150 a tournament. You fish the inshore, it's $150, offshore is $150, but if you go with both, it is $300. We're not necessarily doing a discount to fish both.
And is it $300 or $150 per person, or is it for the team?
It's per team.
Okay. And if you're the captain on an offshore team, can you still be on an inshore team with different people, or how is that going to work?
If you're fishing inshore or offshore, we can have you're allowed to fish both tournaments as 2 separate teams. So that being said, let's use us for example. If let's say we're taking the great fisherman of the club, Don Spaeth out, and he wanted to fish with me offshore, but you inshore, he could definitely do that. But he could not fish with both. He could not fish with my team offshore and your team offshore. it would have to be
Got it.
Inshore and Offshore is two separate tournaments.
Got it. Are we? So a lot of our members have friends they take out that aren't actually officially members. Are they allowed to have them on their team?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So non-members are more than welcome to join on the teams. Obviously, the non-member just cannot run point or cannot operate the boat via the bylaws of the club.
So that seems pretty cut and dry. We'll probably go over this a lot more thoroughly at the captain's meeting, but till then, if anybody has any other questions or they just don't understand something, is there a way they can find out any information?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be available. So we're going to have a tournament website set up for this, as well as you guys will get plenty of emails and promotional items through Facebook, emails, and better yet, at some of these new socials that we have coming up, we'll be able to unveil a little bit more of a plan to get you in geared. But if anybody has any important questions or questions in the moment, feel free to come up to the office. Come visit myself right behind Angel.
So one more thing just to clarify. So I know that we did talk about when you take the pictures, you're going to be uploading to Facebook to verify the length of your snook or your redfish or whatnot. Give me 1 second. Somebody's got to ruin our video.